Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going. All right, so let's just reach. There we go. Just loosen up the shoulders a little bit, open up the back, warm up a little bit. Good, then bring your arms up like a cactus and sweep your elbows together in front. Pinch them together and back. Oh, yes. Good, everybody looks good. Bring your arms down at your sides, give them a wiggle, and then circle. Just nice little circles. Let your shoulders loosen up a little bit. If your shoulders feel good, you can make the circles a little bit bigger, but you don't have to go crazy on this one. And then I'm gonna circle backwards, start small, get bigger as it feels okay. Beautiful, then sitting up nice and tall, take an easy side bend. Just loosen up the spine a little bit. Pay attention to the feeling of your weight shifting. Your weight shifts from one side of your chair to the other. You use those muscles in your abdomen to pull you back to the center. You wouldn't think that sitting down, you could work on your balance, but this really helps. Good morning, come on in. Hands on your knees for cat-cow. Tuck your tailbone under, arch your back and tuck your chin, point your nose to your belly button, and then lift up tall through your spine, point your belly button down at your toes and arch up and out. Oh, indeed, I agree. This one feels so good. So I'm just going back and forth between cat and cow, curving the spine one direction and then the other. Beautiful. Sit up nice and tall. Let's put your hands in front of your shoulders and push out and pull back. Really get your shoulders involved. So stretch across the back and then squeeze across the back. Beautiful. Good, then cross your arms like a genie, sit up tall and gently rotate. Only as far as it wants to go. So it's okay to move slowly on these so that you catch yourself before anything hurts. Beautiful. Let's add a little something to that twist now. So as I rotate, I'm going to bring the opposite knee up. So I'm going to pick up that leg, so right elbow to left knee, left elbow to right knee. So I'm trying to stay tall through my spine, rotate the upper body, lift the leg. You should feel a little bit of a crunch there in your midsection. Good. Good. We won't do too many of those. Do you think that's enough? Yes. Yes, yes, of course it is. Let's, I think we have space today. Let's do some jumping jacks from seated. So make sure you're perched forward on your chair. You want to just be balanced on your sit bones. And then we're going to jump and jump. Not really jumping, but Lace up your corset. Pull up tall through your spine. If your shoulders don't like the overhead, you're welcome to crisscross your arms in front. And if you feel like you're falling off your chair, just do one leg at a time. That works just as well. Well, not quite just as well. You can feel it's harder to move both legs at once, but you can do whatever you need to keep it safe. Beautiful. Are you done with this? I think so. That's good. That's a hard one. That's a really hard one. All right, let's loosen up the lower body a little bit too. Belly button in. Push your toes out in front of your knees and pick up your toes. We'll loosen up the ankles and the calves. And then slide your heels under your knees a little bit and pick up your heels. Open up the front of the ankles. Good, then grab one knee so that you can circle at the ankle. And then let's switch directions. And just take your time, get a nice big circle, feel the stretch. There's lots going on in the muscles in your calves when you circle at the ankles. And then I'm going to switch sides, circle one way. And you know from balancing that a lot of stability in your ankles can help with your balancing and flexibility. You want those muscles to be responsive. You want them to flex when you need them to flex. I'm switching directions here. And you want them to hold when you need them to hold. Beautiful. Sit up tall once again, belly button in, and straighten and bend at the knee. Feel the muscles in the front of the leg contracting and the back of the leg stretching. Good. Are we done already? I guess we are. Switch legs. I get to talking and I stop counting. Excellent. All right. Go back to the first leg. Stretch the leg out straight. Keep the toe pointed straight up toward the ceiling. Belly button in. You might lean back a little bit and hold on. And I'm just going to lift the whole leg, whole straight leg up and down. Doesn't have to lift super high. Beautiful. Look at you guys go. I see lots of control. I expected to see a lift and a drop, but everybody's doing good. Controlling it on the downstroke. Ooh, it's getting heavy. Are we done yet, Ray? Now he says, okay, switch legs. Belly button in. It does help to support from your belly. And you might notice one leg is easier than the other. Almost done. This is the last one, right? Yes, excellent. Okay, let's work on the back side of the legs a little bit. So we don't have to get out of our chair for this, but I want you perched right on the front, feet about as wide apart as your chair legs. Your feet want to be right under your knees or maybe even a tiny bit closer to you. And I want you to just drive the heel of one foot into the floor until you feel the back of your leg contract, and drive the other foot into the floor. You might feel yourself shift in your seat. You hopefully feel the contraction all the way up the back of your legs and into your rear end. So press the heel and press the heel. And I don't feel that exclusively in the back of my leg. I feel it in the front too, but it's really activating the back side. Good. Now let's use those muscles to get us up out of the chair. So feet as wide as your chair legs, belly button in. I'm going to hinge forward from my hips, and you'll feel there's a point where your rear end just starts to peel off the chair behind you. That's usually right about when your shoulders line up over your knees. And right there is when I push through the heels and hopefully come right up out of the chair. Beautiful. It's totally fine if you need to hold on to your knees or get your fingers behind you on the chair for a teeny little extra push. But I do want you to think about lifting yourself up from behind. So there's so much back there, right? Those are the biggest and strongest muscles in your body. So, right, put them to work. Don't just sit on them, make them lift you up. So it's like somebody's scooping you up from behind. Okay, so if you need to, just imagine a forklift scooping you up from behind. Yes, I know. I can tell everybody who had older siblings, they're the ones who are looking to make sure the chair's still there. Stay up when you get up. Then come around to the back of your chair or the side of your chair, and let's do some more lower body work. So feet just about hip width apart and toes pointed straight ahead. Feet are parallel. Come up on your toes and back down. Feel all the work in your feet, your toes, your ankles, your calves. Beautiful. And hold on just as much as you need to. This helps with your balance, but this particular exercise we're trying to strengthen. Okay, so now standing on your feet and drawing your toes up toward your knees. And I'm trying to do this without pushing my hips back. So belly button in, hips stay under, toes just pull up, and you're working those muscles in the front of your shins. And those are important because those help you pick up your foot and clear the curb and clear the throw rug and not be dragging as you're walking. Beautiful. I'm sure that's enough. I'm going to turn now to sort of a penguin position. Heels together, toes apart. Your heels don't have to actually touch, but have your knees and your toes turned out as far as your hips will let you. Right? So your hips are what's going to determine how far out to the side your toes can go. I want you to tuck your tailbone under. And just standing there is kind of hard. But now I'm going to have you come up on your toes from there. And I'm holding on because this is actually quite hard to stay balanced. I'm keeping my rear end tucked under. You feel this a little bit differently in your calves, but you also should feel in your rear end working to keep that underneath you. Beautiful. I'm sure that's enough of that. I'm going to take a little break, maybe wiggle the ankles to loosen them up again. Beautiful. Okay, let's come into an easy side step. Step side tap, step side tap. As you're doing this, see how big a step you can take without, risking your life, limb, and happiness. Beautiful. You might put your hands on the sides of your hips and feel those muscles working. Every time you step, And those guys help a lot with your stability. Beautiful. Let's do a front back weight shift next. So feet are hip width apart side to side, but one foot is forward of the other. So you can decide how far forward. I think a bigger stride is harder. So I just have the toes of the back foot kind of lined up with the heel of the front foot. And I'm just going to start gently shifting my weight from the back foot to the front foot. I'm, for the most part, keeping my torso over my feet. I'm not extending too far. I'm keeping both feet on the floor, but I'm rolling heel toe and toe heel. And as you get comfortable with this, you can begin to maybe lean out just a little bit more. Feel the muscles in your abdomen and your back helping stop you. You might feel the muscles here in your front of your leg stopping you. If you feel like your balance is pretty good and you want to completely shift your weight and pick up the foot that you're not standing on, you can do that. So you're going from one foot all together to the other foot all together. And the slower you do it, the more control you have to exercise at the hip and the knee and the ankle, which is why we do all those goofy little movements so often. Beautiful. We should switch the forward foot. So again, start small, feet are hip width side to side, one just in front of the other, and I'm just going to get my bearings first and gently shift front to back, testing how far I can control. It might be different with the other foot forward. And then as I get more comfortable, I might think about picking up one foot so that I'm literally standing on one foot, not just shifting my weight onto that foot. You can always hold on. You can always keep both feet on the floor if you prefer. But I'm just doing this nice, easy little rocking horse motion, front, back, nice and controlled. Beautiful. Come back to about a shoulder width stance with your feet and circle your hips. Get those guys loosened up and circle the other way. Beautiful. Then let's do just a static hold. So choose your poison from easiest to hardest. Your options are feet right together. If you want a little harder, pull one foot halfway forward of the other. We call that a half tandem stance. If you want it a little bit harder, pull one foot directly in front of the other. If you want it not quite that hard, turn the front toe out to the side a little bit. That's the position that I think a lot of you are situated for practicing. So get into your position, take a second, feel the weight over your feet, get your weight centered over the 2 feet, make sure your hips point front, tuck your tailbone under, belly button in, lift up tall through your spine and pull your shoulders back and relax them down. You should feel nicely centered and balanced over your feet, which doesn't mean it's easy, but it shouldn't feel like you're leaning or pulling against yourself. Do think about drawing in on your belly button. It's amazing how much support you get from the middle. And maybe take a deep breath. So you're holding, but I don't want you clenching, right? I want you holding, but relaxed. Beautiful. Do you want to add something tricky? It's optional, always optional. I'm gonna try adding the nose touch. So I'm not moving my feet at all. I'm just alternating finger touching nose. Just the slight motion in the arms changes your center of gravity a tiny bit, and your body's adjusting. Beautiful. Good, I'm gonna put my arms down. I'm still holding this position. I'm gonna try now turning my head, but I'm gonna do this very slowly so that I don't fall over. I'm just turning my head a few degrees to one side and a few degrees to the other side. It also helps to go slowly so that you can periodically focus on something so that you're not just getting a blur. That visual data helps your brain keep you centered. Beautiful. Take a step out and relax. Take as many little steps in place as you want. I could almost feel your calves tightening up. Right? So let it go, relax, wiggle as much as you want. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you were just standing feet together, you get to do that again. If you were in the half tandem or the full tandem, switch the forward foot and get your set up. So weight centered over the 2 feet, tailbone tucked under, belly button drawn in. Lift up tall through your spine and let your shoulders come back and down. Find your center over that narrow base of support. Remember, it helps to take a deep breath and just calm down a little bit. That helps you, if you take that deep breath, it helps you resist the urge to overcompensate if you get a little tipped. So just hold on in your midsection. Remember that you do lots of exercises to work to support your hips and your knees and your ankles. So even if you tip a little bit, chances are you can come back if you're careful. Good. I'm going to add the finger to nose touch. Always optional. If you need to hold on, you just hold on. Beautiful. And then I'm going to try the head turn nice and slowly. And I'm going to make sure I focus on something at least at the end points. Sometimes I'll focus on something in the middle too, just to make sure. I think this is harder to do with progressive lenses too, because your ability to focus changes depending on where through your glasses you're seeing. Beautiful. I'm going to step out and relax the feet and ankles. Good, 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 good. Beautiful. Okay, we better do a couple of stretches. We've been standing a long time. So hold on to your chair, take that big step back, and let your back heel settle to the floor. We did a lot of work in your calves, so you may find that it feels good to stretch that. And then switch legs. Beautiful. Grab your chair, walk backwards. Flatten out your back, stretch long from head to tail. Pull your hips away from your head. Let that whole backside of your body lengthen. And then bend your knees and tuck your hips underneath you and duck walk back to your chair and come on back around and have a seat. Very nice. Very nice. You did some good weight shifting and static holding and some good exercises for all the lower body and core. So I'm in the hip stretch now with one foot sitting across the opposite knee. Feel free to wiggle that joint to get it to loosen up. I'm going to sit up tall And only if you feel like you have room to stretch more, fold forward over your lap. And take your time, especially with stretches. The slower you move, the better it feels. Good. Come back up and switch legs. Sit up tall and then just gently start to fold forward. It's not supposed to hurt, so just take it however far it wants to go. Beautiful, that looks good. Let's stretch out the back of the leg since we did so much of that. Stretch that one out in front. Sit up nice and tall. Get that broomstick down your shirt so your spine doesn't bend. Just hinge from the hip, like you're trying to rest your chin on your toes. But of course you won't get that far. You'll stop. And just take a nice deep breath right when you come about as far as you can and exhale. And as you exhale, you might drift just a little deeper into the stretch. You might not. Beautiful. Try the other leg. Sit up tall, nice, long, straight spine. Hinge forward. Do it slowly enough that you can feel the resistance building in your muscle, and then just back off a little bit. And then on that exhale, maybe feel the muscle soften and let you settle deeper in. Beautiful. Outstanding. Take a wide stance with your feet. You're perched on the edge of your chair. And here we go. Reach for the ceiling. Reach with your head too. Get nice and long. And then take a nice side bend. Oh, that feels so good no matter how often you do it. Go tall once more in the middle. Draw in on your belly button. Take that swan dive head first between your knees. Let yourself relax at the bottom like a rag doll. Take a deep breath while you're down there. Fill up your lungs. And then before you come up, make sure you cinch up tight on that corset, belly button in, hands on your knees, and come up slowly so you don't get any dizzier than you need to. Excellent. Good work, everybody. Nice job.